What if Adam wasn't the first man created on earth? Imagine the moment before everything began, before Eden, before the first breath of man. There was no earth, no sky, just divine silence. Then the sons of God. Who were these mysterious beings who witnessed creation itself? Why are they only mentioned in whispers between verses? And if Adam was the first man, why were they already there? What if the creation story you know is only part of a much deeper truth? What if there was a divine order before Adam? A creation that was hidden, maybe even erased. Today we unlock a mystery buried beneath centuries of silence. A secret whispered through forbidden scriptures and lost texts. The sons of God and the hidden creation before Adam. If you're drawn to ancient mysteries, biblical secrets, and forbidden knowledge, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a revelation, because what comes next will change everything. The Bible opens with a majestic vision. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. But as the narrative unfolds, something curious lingers just beneath the surface. In the book of Job, a text far older than Genesis, God challenges Job with a haunting question. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth, when the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy? Job 38, 4-7. Pause for a moment. This verse changes everything. The sons of God rejoiced before the earth was formed, before Adam, before light was separated from darkness. They were already there. But who were they? And why is their presence almost never discussed in the Genesis account? While Genesis presents a structured, step-by-step creation, Job cracks open a hidden window into an earlier realm, suggesting the existence of celestial witnesses, beings with presence, consciousness, even purpose. These aren't metaphors or poetic symbols. The Hebrew term used, Benet Elohim, doesn't refer to humans, it refers to beings of divine origin. Not only does this raise questions about the order of creation, it suggests that Adam may not have been the first conscious creation, just the first of a new kind. And so the mystery deepens. If the sons of God were already present, rejoicing as the foundations of the world were laid, then their existence isn't part of the story of mankind, but of something older, something the scriptures only dare to hint at. And this is where we begin to trespass into forbidden ground, because these sons of God are not just celestial spectators. Ancient texts outside the Bible, long considered heretical or dangerous, suggest a far deeper truth. They were part of an original divine order, a first creation predating Adam. The Book of Enoch, once revered by early Jewish sects, reveals a shocking account. A group known as the Watchers, celestial beings tasked with observing the earth, did more than just watch. They intervened. They descended. They shared knowledge never meant for humans, and they were punished. These weren't random rebels. They were the same sons of God later mentioned in Genesis 6. But here we see their origin. A powerful order of divine beings existing long before Adam, whose fall began not on earth but in heaven. The Dead Sea Scrolls, hidden for nearly 2,000 years, add further shadows to the picture. They describe cosmic rebellions, failed creations, and realms of light and darkness locked in war before man ever drew breath. And if this is true, then Adam was not the first attempt. He was the replacement, a correction, a restart. And now the question must be asked, not why the sons of God fell, but what exactly were they before they fell? Because what we call creation may in fact be a recovery from something far more ancient and far more catastrophic. The scriptures remain silent on one crucial point. Who exactly were the sons of God? They appear without introduction, they celebrate the creation, they descend in Genesis, but their origin concealed. To unravel their true identity, we must now go further into the intersections of scripture, myth, and esoteric tradition. One dominant theory, long held by early Jewish and Christian scholars, is that the sons of God were angels. But not just any angels. They were part of an elite order, not the messengers, but the governors, beings of rank and presence who stood in the highest courts of heaven. They are echoed in the book of Daniel as princes over nations, and in Psalms 82 as the divine council, celestial judges standing in assembly. But if they were angels, their actions tell a different story. Angels are messengers, obedient. The sons of God, as described in the book of Enoch and echoed in Genesis, chose. They crossed boundaries. They took knowledge meant for the heavens and gave it to the earth. This leads to a second, more arcane theory: the sons of God as pre-existing souls. Jewish mysticism, particularly Kabbalistic thought, speaks of souls that predated creation, primordial sparks of divine consciousness born from earlier emanations. They existed in spiritual realms before the world was formed. Some fell, some were exiled. This echoes the haunting line from the book of Jeremiah: "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you." Jeremiah 1:5. Was this only a poetic metaphor or a whisper of something deeper? Some mystics believe that Adam was not the beginning, but the repair, tikkun, for something that shattered before, a failed creation, and the sons of God not angels, not humans, but souls, ancient and luminous, now veiled in flesh or cast into shadow. But there's a third theory, one that challenges the very fabric of Genesis, the gap theory. Genesis chapter 2 reads, "And the earth was without form and void." But in Hebrew, was can also mean became. What if the earth became void because it once was something else, a previous creation, forgotten, judged, destroyed? Ancient Mesopotamian myths speak of divine beings who crafted worlds and watched them fall. Egyptian legends of the Ism echo similar tales, divine orders lost in flame. Could the sons of God have been part of that first world, one that fell into chaos, requiring a new beginning, a beginning we call Adam? If the sons of God were remnants of a creation before Adam, whether angels, ancient souls, or divine beings from a lost world, then their descent into the human realm wasn't just rebellion, it was transgression of cosmic law. According to the Book of Enoch, they were known as the Watchers, beings who were never meant to interfere, only to observe. But something changed. Desire, curiosity, or perhaps pity for mankind led them to descend. But they didn't come empty-handed. They brought with them forbidden knowledge, skills, and secrets humanity was never meant to possess. According to Enoch, these Watchers taught men the art of warfare, metallurgy, enchantments, astrology, cosmetics, root-cutting, and divination. In short, they ignited a premature awakening, a surge of knowledge before moral maturity, and it shattered the intended order of creation. The ancient Jewish text, Sefer HaRazim, speaks of angelic hierarchies guarding specific knowledge, only to be accessed by divine sanction. But the Watchers bypassed that system. They gave humans access to tools that mirrored divine power, and with that, corruption spread like wildfire. Mystics warned that this moment, the opening of the gates of heaven, was not enlightenment, but a cosmic breach, one that rippled through creation, destabilizing the delicate balance between heaven and earth. This wasn't just disobedience, it was contamination. The result? The emergence of the Nephilim, hybrid offspring, neither fully divine nor fully human, beings with immense power, unchecked desire, and alien purpose. But more than the Nephilim themselves, it was the knowledge they inherited that terrified the divine realm. Gnostic texts whisper that the true danger wasn't the rebellion, but that man might rise too quickly, grasping secrets once reserved for the divine. As in the myth of Prometheus, who stole fire for humanity and was condemned, the sons of God gave fire too soon. In Kabbalistic tradition, this moment is seen as a shattering of vessels, the breaking point between light and chaos. And so, the divine response wasn't just judgment, it was containment. The Watchers were imprisoned, cast into the abyss, their names erased, their influence buried. But their knowledge, that could never be fully undone, and as we'll soon discover, that knowledge may have survived the flood, hidden in stone, encoded in myth, and preserved by those who walk unseen among us. The knowledge shared by the sons of God had spiraled out of control. Humanity was no longer innocent. It was advancing too quickly, guided by hands not of this world. And so came the verdict, not simply punishment, but reset. The Bible tells us, "And God saw that the wickedness of man was great, and it grieved him to his heart." Genesis 6:5-6. But what if the flood wasn't just a response to human sin, but a calculated act of historical erasure, a cleansing, yes, but also a cover-up? The Book of Jubilees, a text once revered in ancient Judaism, claims that the Watchers' corruption reached every corner of the earth. Their offspring, the Nephilim, dominated the land. Their knowledge rewrote the order of civilization. It could not be allowed to survive. The flood became more than just a natural disaster. It was a cosmic sterilization, a wiping of the slate, physically, spiritually, and historically. But here lies the most disturbing question. What if it didn't work completely? Scattered across the globe are echoes that refuse to vanish. Megalithic sites with impossible engineering, burial mounds and caves said to house giants in Malta, in Ireland, in the Americas. Oral traditions from the Hopi to the Sumerians, speaking of a time before this time, of beings not like us, and a great deluge meant to bury the memory. Even in Greek mythology, Zeus floods the earth to destroy the Titans, children of gods and mortals, a parallel too exact to dismiss. But perhaps the most chilling remnants aren't buried in stone, but hidden in plain sight. Rituals, symbols, societies from the Freemasons to Rosicrucian groups, obsessed with the ancient knowledge, guarding truths the world was never meant to recover. Could it be that the knowledge of the sons of God was not lost, only hidden, encoded into myth, transformed into mystery religions, waiting for a time like ours, a time when the veil thins, when digital light replaces divine fire, and ancient knowledge, once sealed away, begins to reawaken? So now we return to the question that started it all. Was Adam truly the beginning, or merely the beginning again? The sons of God, once witnesses to divine creation, became keepers of forbidden knowledge, and in some cases, its destroyers. But the flood didn't erase everything. The symbols survived, the names lingered in myth, and some believe the watchers never left. Could it be that what was hidden in ancient scrolls and sealed beneath the earth is now re-emerging in the digital age? That forgotten patterns are being revived under new forms, code instead of stone, frequency instead of fire? And if so, then we are not just discovering ancient truth, we are stepping into its consequences. Are you ready to face it? Tell me in the comments, do you believe the sons of God still watch us even now? And if this journey stirred something inside you, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell to be the first to uncover what they tried to bury, because the truth is always there, but only those who seek will see it.